Okay. Got some nice decorations, huh, Artis? Nice. All right. You guys go ahead.
Any injury updates from yesterday?
Yeah, so JoJo Natson was the only one during the game. He got a hamstring. He got it pretty good, so it's a 4 to 6 week injury. We'll have some further updates on what exactly that means in terms of his status and how we'll exactly handle that. Rob Havenstein is continuing to make good progress. He'll be day-to-day, as will Gerald Everett with his knee, and that's kind of where we're at with those guys.
Who would be next up in terms of kick returning?
I think there's a good chance, you could put Darryl back there for kick returns, and then in terms of the punt returns, Simba was a guy that did a really nice job with that in the preseason, consistently caught the ball, and he's a guy that can do a really nice job creating after the catch, getting vertical immediately, so I think he would be the next guy up.
Seems like the last couple of games, a 39-point loss followed by, a 27-point win have kind of been a highlight of a season that has seen you go up and down, even taking into account the quality of the opposition. Do you have any explanation for why the team might be so unpredictable, I guess?
Yeah, I think, the biggest thing that I would take away is I love the way that our team responded from last week. And I think that says as much about our team as anything, and now the truest measurement of performance is consistency. And you mentioned it. We haven't been consistent enough, but what we can control is what we do this week. I think if the last 2 weeks represent anything, it's that each week is its own entity. We've got to use that energy that our guys had with the week of practice and then coming out, and I thought you could just feel it. There was a good sense that you had from our players, their energy, their competitiveness, the fight that they had in them, and their willingness to go out and play well. And I thought they did that. And that was truly, led by the players. I think it's important our leaders continue to lead, some of those veteran guys on both sides of the ball. And if we have that, that's when I feel like we're in the best chance to be able to operate at an efficient level in all three phases, which is what we expect to see from our team. And this week presents another opportunity for us to see if we can, stack another performance on top of what yesterday was.
Since you get to see practices, obviously, and sense the mood of the locker room, do you find that you know what's coming? I mean, when you wind up with a great game like yesterday, do you say to yourself, I knew that was going to happen? Or
I would say I think you can just feel the energy that the players have on game day, and then once kickoff comes, and then you can just kind of feel if there's that good buzz, and then obviously like anything else, it's as the game unfolds. But I think our guys have been pretty consistent with their weekly approach. I wouldn't necessarily say it's that, but when you're getting ready to compete against the best athletes in the world, there's an element of getting ready to go and being ready to go right when kickoff comes. And I think sometimes you can feel there's an overall energy that your team possesses that is a good one that you never truly know until the game plays out. But there was something about yesterday's buzz. I don't know what you would call it, but just the feeling that you had from our team. That was the kind of the performance that we expected, because we respect the Cardinals a lot. That's a very good football team. I think one of the things you realize when you just look at the landscape of this league as a whole, week to week, I don't care what records are. It's so competitive, and it's such a slim margin for error. And that's where, you got to do a good job of capitalizing on those opportunities and using the things that you can take to draw on some confidence and build on it for the following weeks, because it's very valuable, and it's got to be real, and it's got to be tangible.
Are you a Seahawks fan tonight or a Vikings fan with this Monday night?
You know what? Here's what I would say, Gary. These things have a way of working themselves out for us, and really, you start to do that, it really takes away from the energy that's focused on, we got to try to put together a great game plan and a good week of preparation to go beat the Seahawks next week. I do believe you get what you deserve in this league, and I think for our guys, all we can control is trying to play really good football this last quarter of the season, and if that's enough, then I think the guys can, it'll work itself out, and if not, our guys are the type of guys that are going to continue to compete. There's a pride about this group. There's an appreciation and respect for each other in terms of what we want to be able to do, but there's a lot of wasted energy. You start watching those things because there's still a full month of football left. Yeah, I mean, I think, if the season ended tomorrow, that those are the things that you start talking about. But 4 weeks is a lot of time. And you start worrying about, okay, we got to catch this team, we got to catch that team. And if you don't handle your business, none of it really matters. And that's really the truth. And so for us, you start to deter or take your energy in other places, worrying about things that really aren't in our control. We have nothing to do with what that game is tonight. What we can control is try to get ready for this week. Now, I'm a fan, so I'll be watching the game, and, I like to see high-caliber football, which these are two really good football teams, and so, I'll watch it from that standpoint, and then obviously it's a jump on the preparation for the team that we play.
Once you had a chance to watch film of Taylor Rapp from yesterday, what stood out besides the pick six?
I think just his overall, just involvement, concept recognition. I think you see the way that he's able to just play faster. In a lot of instances, the things that you love so much about his tape at UW is what you're seeing these last couple weeks. You can see there's a comfort in the scheme. He has an ownership on what he's being asked to do within the framework of that specific call. Had a couple other plays, too, whether it's, recognizing screens and being able to blow it up and trigger downhill when he's holding a split safety look and makes a play on Kenyon Drake, making that pick. He's being asked to do a lot of different things, but I think you're starting to see the versatility and really just the overall instincts and how that enables him to play faster in those close quarters. When he arrives, he gets guys down quickly. He's a great tackler, and ironically, Taylor Rapp is a great Rapp tackler, so he's played at a high level, and I think that's a reflection of his preparation. Coach Evero's done a great job, and then, I think the way that Eric Weddle has influenced him has helped him in a big way as well.
Sean, when you played Seattle, obviously Wilson had the 4-touchdown game, no interceptions. Where do you feel like your pass defense has grown or gotten better as you go preparing to face them again?
I think there's some situations they made some big plays. I mean, you look at it, that was kind of earlier in the season, but he's continued to play at a really high level, making plays on schedule, off schedule. I think Coach Schottenheimer does a great job of being able to pick and choose their shot type plays, and whether it was Disley or Metcalf and Lockett. I mean, they had a lot of guys that made plays for him as well. So. When you're looking at this team, they're continuing to produce at a high level. They do a great job running the football. I think our defense has gotten better. I think we've done a nice job limiting the explosives. They were able to create some that night. But, for us, it's about let's dive into the tape. Let's see what they're doing differently than maybe what they had done, the first 4 weeks when we played them in week 5 earlier. And how can we minimize really a good offense overall, not exclusive to just some of the things that they didn't do in the past game.
In 5 of your last 6 games, your defense has only allowed 1 offensive touchdown, Baltimore obviously being the outlier. And that coincides with when you guys got Jalen. How much of this is causation with Jalen? How much is correlation?
I think it's, anytime that you add a player like him, it does help. And I think, he's done a great job of helping us where we've been able to do a couple different things that then does accentuate the skill sets of some of the other 10 around him. I think, with what you've seen us being able to do, it does free up and it gives you a chance to maybe be a little bit more aggressive, which then gives you an opportunity to get Aaron one-on-one a little bit more, free up Dante. So I think everybody has benefited from some of the versatility that we've been able to add, since his addition. He clearly is a big part of that. But then I also think, it's the other 10 guys around him. So our defense has played well. We trust that is an outlier performance, like you mentioned, with the Baltimore game. And yesterday, hopefully, is more in line with what we'll consistently see this last quarter of the season.
You only had Dante for half the season, last year. But now that you kind of had him through training camp and into this full season, what does he kind of bring to the defense?
Yeah, he brings an explosion, a guy that can win off the edge. He's got great overall speed. I just think you can feel his presence. He plays fast. He plays violent. He's explosive when he arrives at the point of attack. I think Chris Shula has done a really nice job with him, Gary, of getting him to continue to take steps. We ask a lot of him, but his comfort level definitely shows up in the system. I mean, things that don't really get too much, credit. You look at 2 screens that he ended up batting down yesterday. Those are big plays where you don't end up getting your hands on those. They might have a chance to get something started. That's been a team that's had a lot of success with screens. He's making sacks. He's influencing and affecting the quarterback in a variety of different ways. And, you look at him, you look at Clay, obviously Aaron. I think, I thought Sebastian played his best game of the year yesterday. Michael Brockers continues to demonstrate why he's a complete player. So I've been really pleased with our front overall, but Dante's done a great job. Samson as well. I mean, Samson made a bunch of plays as well yesterday.
In reviewing that tape, I know you talked about Jared, blocking, but if you had your druthers, do you want your quarterback out there? I mean,
giving himself up for the team, or do you want him away from?
Hell yeah, go make that block, man. I thought, I think what's as fun as anything is the excitement that you hear from the teammates. And when you get a chance to show the things that we did well or that we can do, better collectively, and you hear, how fired up guys get. And I think I think you pick and choose, if that's a different player out there. I mean, I think he told you guys yesterday, but Peterson got him good around the neck right there, but he ended up getting that block, and Robert, went inside. And I think those are things that sometimes it's just reactionary. This is still a game that is full of a bunch of different things that you don't know how exactly a play is going to play out. If you told me that screen was going to cut across the grain for a 48-yard gain, I would have told you there's no way. But, that's why when you got 22 moving parts on each snap, sometimes things play out, and I think that was a natural reaction for him, and I think his guys love that, and so did we.
When you have a close result like you did the last time against the Seahawks, does that at all impact your approach or preparation when you face them a second time in terms of adjustments you may make?
I think you always look at the previous games, and this is a team that when you just look at it over the last 3 years, and even before our coaching staff was here, there's always been a good competitive balance between these two teams. But specifically in the 6 times that, this will be the 6th time we've played them now, and the first 5 have been, tough challenges every single time. And that's where, you look back at the ones last year, especially comes down to one possession, comes down to the last possession in our game with them this year. So the last 3 for sure have been so closely contested. It's a great football team. I continue to come away impressed with just the consistency at which Coach Carroll has those guys playing. Got great players. They've got a consistent philosophy in terms of what they want it to look like, and I think that's why you see those guys win year in and year out, and it's really impressive.
Sean, yesterday was one of the better games this season in terms of yards after catch for your receivers. Is that something you look at as an indicator of offensive success, that you're getting those guys with the chance to get more after the throw?
Yeah, I think I think that can be. I think it's based on, all right, well, let's break down all those yards and then identify what are the key factors in it. Sometimes it's screens, and sometimes it's elite individual efforts. I think in a lot of the instances, the thing that you really liked from Jared especially were the location on some front pad throws, on some crossing routes. You look at Higbee hitting a 25-plus yard gain where it's a perfect throw. He hits Robert Woods on a crossing route. So I think that is a very good reflection of the accuracy, the timing, the anticipation that you're throwing the ball with. And then, in some of those instances, a lot of those yards come from some of the screens or, some of the keepers, and I think that's a reflection of the unit. But I thought Jared did an especially good job of giving guys a chance to create afterwards, and then certainly our guys give them a lot of credit for being able to do some stuff on their own as well.
There were the couple of wide receiver screens on the first 2 series went nowhere on 3rd down.
Mm-hmm.
Was that the same play?
There were variances of them, and here's what I would say is encouraging about the guys that we're playing with right now, Kevin, and really the guys that played yesterday, I should say, is when things don't always work out, there's a reason why they don't. And if you feel like you can solve the problem during the game, both as a reflection of the coaches and the players' ability to communicate in between series, you don't just say, oh, we're never going to run that play again. There's a reason why it didn't work out, and it's not exclusive to, the look or whatever. And I think as a result of our players' ability to echo and articulate some of the things that they saw, and then the coaches being able to communicate with them, we were able to come back to it, because the reason that they didn't work or some similar plays was very, solvable for us. And I thought our guys did a great job of solving some of those problems. And then, certainly sometimes it entails guys creating outside the design. I mean, we've talked about it a lot, but that 48-yard play, that's not how I draw it up, But when you've got a great player that ends up just feeling it, making a play, and be able to create it on his own, and guys have an urgency of fighting through the down, sometimes those things have a good way of working themselves out.
How important was Todd's involvement and performance in Jared's performance?
Huge. I think that was a huge part of it, Gary. I mean, for him to get as many tough, hard-earned yards, especially in the times that he did, that allows you to be able to stay balanced, if you will, or create that run-pass conflict, and and then you can get more plays off. We've talked about it. You might have a lot more plays, but sometimes those games where you have a lot of plays are a result of a bunch of second and longs, a bunch of third downs. If you have a lot of gained first downs in that first and second down window, and then that can lead to more normal down and distance calls as you're trying to get down the field, you can be a lot more multiple in what you present to the defense. And I thought Todd's involvement and his contributions were instrumental in us being able to do that. So I think they go hand in hand. And it was unfortunate that the 128-yard or however long that touchdown would have been got called back, because I thought that was a really, a good run. It would have capped off a great day for him. But he continues to do a nice job. And I thought, he had some really tough, hard-earned yards, especially that one run at the end of the first quarter. I mean, that was a great run, and you love the way guys are just finishing, picking each other up, and Todd did a great job yesterday. All righty. Thank you.